Alright, Sistas fans, now last night's episode, Season 4, Episode 18, Enemy of Mine. All things considered, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. 7 out of 10. I do have some minor kind of gripes about it, but other than that, I mean, it was above boring, but not great, where it was one of those meh kind of episodes. Not much happened. I mean, some things happen to make the story progress. Other moments, I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. But long story short, had a lot of thunderstorms yesterday, pouring down rain. Power went out for a few hours. I did not have Wi-Fi from like maybe 2 or 3 p.m. until about 10:30 last night. So if you're wondering why I wasn't live tweeting or doing a live directly after the episode, well, I couldn't, and I wasn't able to watch the episode until around midnight. But I did a live stream like at 1 o'clock. Had, a decent amount of people on there. We stayed for a little while, but truth be told, not much to talk about. So, let's jump into it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and let's go. Andy is trying to make some phone calls due to the fact that, they're freaking out over the whole child support thing. And look, I don't need to say what every other fan has already said. The Tyler Perry flimsiness of the writing and the justification of Zach being on probation makes zero sense whatsoever. So again, Andy just leaves the room to make some phone calls. Zach is understandably losing it. Every time he tries to come up, something like this happens. And I love this scene because Fatima is the one who's calm and reassuring him. He's flipping out on everybody. The fact that you tell me to calm down and this and that and see what's going on. I'm still locked up in here. And despite all that, he's vulnerable. And I love that. The fact that, once he does calm down, he's like, look, every time I try to come up, something like this happens. I got money now. I don't want to depend on a Fatima or an Andy or a Danny to bail me out or hold me down. Oh, and also Karen, and Zach doesn't say it. I think it's because Zach didn't even want to say her name, which I can understand. It's just the fact that from his experience, more often than not, whenever one of these women in his life, from his past or the sister circle, does something for him, they're always quick to remind him of what they did for him or what he owes them and this and that. So, yeah, I can definitely see why he'll be upset about that. But my only comment is, Zach, you have money now, so you need to act like you have money. You can't solve all of your problems the street way, getting your own hands dirty, and as a result, you end up in jail just like you used to when you had no money. But yeah, this was a great scene that, Fatima is going to stand by her man. And she does mention how, look, I ain't joking. I'm crazy. I will break you out of here and we'll go on the run if necessary. Which, again, good scene. I'm glad, things didn't resort to that. Andy calls Robin and I don't want to make it seem like I'm half-assing the review. But you all know I did a good amount of Sistas content before this week's episode. And the preview really showed, I guess you could say, like a highlight reel of everything important that actually happened during the episode. I've already done a video about, Robin, is he just another Gary with jealousy? No, he's asking legitimate questions like, why is Andy going through so much trouble in order to help this one guy get out of jail who has a record? But, long story short, she believes in Zach, and, he'll call the DA's daughter to see, what can be done to move things along due to the whole probation officer thing not really making a lot of sense. And I love how within the context of the show, aside from Zach claiming it's not his kid and wanting a DNA test, which has not been brought up at all, it's good to see another character in the show going, okay, but he's on probation. Did the officer contact him to let him know what's going on with that? So it's funny because Andy tries to flip the script of, wait, are you sleeping with the DA's daughter? No, what do you mean? Well, because you asked about Zach. And, it's kind of a cute little back and forth there. But one thing is, over the phone, Andy recognized, yeah, it's like you can always tell when something's wrong. Well, all you have to do is listen. And I think that's kind of funny compared to the previous night when he was rightfully calling her out for using him to make Gary jealous and she got all defensive. But now all of a sudden it's cute when he's able to read her like a book. Okay, so believe it or not, I actually liked the scene in Maurice's place. It was short, sweet, to the point. Q's making breakfast. Look, no, I'm still not a fan of an armed robber going from, hey, I want to shoot you and your friend if you don't, help us get this money, to live-in butler. I still think Q is plotting something. But regardless, I have really no major complaints about this scene. He up there making breakfast. And he says he's going to look for a job today. I don't know, cleaning dishes, cooking at a restaurant, just basically to stop hustling. And, Maurice tries to, well, I'm not even mad for Maurice having an attitude. It's like, oh yeah, you got to apply for the bank. What, really? You think they hire me? Sure, they always hire people that try to rob it. And then Calvin gets up hungover. He doesn't really remember what happened, but yeah, this makes no sense continuity-wise. Maurice apparently took a video of the two of them on his bed from the night before, and I don't know how he did that because he did not have his phone out when he walked into his room, saw them on the bed, and they walked out. But in any case, they show that to Calvin. He doesn't remember it. The buckets of vomit and Maurice pretty much solidify the story. And, Calvin asked the question we did about why aren't you wearing any pants? And he said, look, I was asleep on the couch. I heard you were about to get sick, so I just rushed to help you out. So, it is what it is. Calvin takes a biscuit and then walks away, probably to the living room or something. And, from there, Maurice wants to basically be served in terms of, hey, give me my utensils, pour me some juice. He, kicks his little boot up and puts it on the chair or something, and he's enjoying this. Alright, so we go over to the salon. Pam greets Aaron as he comes in. And, it turns out he accidentally grabbed keys from, I think, Karen's chair because he completely forgot that his keys were in his pocket. And it turns out that, as a lot of people theorize, these are indeed a set of Zach's keys that were apparently, they fell through the couch a long time ago. And from there, Aaron is like, oh, okay, well, hey, can I see you tonight? 7 p.m., your place, pickles and ice cream. And she's like, okay, sure, show. And then he leaves. Pam comes over, and Karen tells Pam to take the keys and to call Zach so he can come get them. Okay, and Pam rightfully says, well, you said you found these, what, in the couch? Yeah, he must have, they're from a long time ago. And he hasn't called you about them since? No. Then he must not care about the keys. I'll just send them to him. No. You just call him. Okay. Then the conversation goes to Pam. Look, it's Pam. She has connections, so somehow she knows about Zach getting arrested and why and yada, yada, yada. And then Karen is like, well, make sure you tell me when he gets out. It's kind of funny because, the last time he got locked up, Karen, it was because you had him arrested. And you show as heck didn't care about when he was getting out then. Moving on. At the bank, Bio comes by with some flowers. And again, we got some customers in the bank, so it's kind of a busy day. And Bio actually asked Sabrina, hey, are you able to take a break? And she's like, oh, no, I can't, but we can talk in my office. I just wanted to take a minute and chuckle at this moment because if you go back to season 1, kind of a running gag was whenever these women were at their job, and they got off the phone with one of their girls, it didn't seem to matter what time of day it was, whether or not they took a break. I think Sabrina was one of the main culprits of this. I mean, yeah, because Karen owns her own salon, so it makes sense, and, she can leave whenever she pleases. But when it comes to Sabrina, I can't even remember the number of times where she'll be at her window, she'll be on her phone, get off the phone, one of her girls, and just leave. And I mean, there'll be customers in the bank and everything, and she leaves like she runs the place. I mean, she's a bank manager, but still. But regardless, they go into the office, and Sabrina kind of confronts him about the whole prince status thing, and he reassures her, look, I'm the prince of a small country. I'm not very well known here in the States, aside from people from my country, so you don't have to worry about being harassed by paparazzi and whatnot. So I just want to make sure, I treat you like a princess, and can I see you tonight? Because that was on the card for the vase of flowers that he gave her. And he wants to have her picked up either by himself or by, his driver. And she agrees to it. So from there, he leaves. And Maurice comes in and says what he has to say, basically about the whole. And I am proud of Sabrina for saying this, but Maurice was like, you want to know about Calvin? No, I don't. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to regret giving Sabrina props for this, because in the next episode or two, she'll probably be wondering about Calvin. But no, I'd rather her focus on the prince. But then again, I feel like this is just going to blow up in her face. Like, Tyler's going to have some kind of twist or whatever. This guy isn't who he says he is. But I'd rather have an okay love interest, as opposed to someone has a dark secret and he's not who he says he is. No. But from there, we go over to the airport. Quick scene. Danny is at her desk, or podium, if you will, and Logan comes over. He's kind of dressed up because he had a briefing with his, teammates and whatnot about the recent rescues at the airport. And it's kind of, a brief scene about following up on their date. And they're going to have a dinner date at the Olive, I believe it's named the Olive Bar or whatever. I think that was the place that Andy and Danny had brunch at or something, and then that's when she went over to Preston and made a fool out of herself. So yeah, it looks like they're going back there. From there, we go over to Zach's house. Jake arrives, and that same contractor who was there before is looking pissed because he hasn't been paid. He needs his money to pay him and his guys, and Jake fills out a $3,500 check. And wait, is this going to go through? Does it look like it's going to bounce? It better not bounce. Asshole could say thank you. So, that's like, the second time Jake has helped Zach out of a financial bind. The money for the child support to get bail, so he made it out of jail before, and now to pay the contractor because, I doubt this company is going to work for Zach again. It's like he always seems to get arrested, or he disappears whenever, it's time to get paid. Okay, so after the contractor leaves, Jake gets on the phone to call the law firm that Andy works at, and she's suspicious of Jake because of the fact that he's working with Gary and he's been helping Zach. And to be completely honest, I know sometimes it's like, man, why is Andy being so nosy and whatnot, and not everything is about her, so why is she suspicious about the Gary thing? I think because Zach is already in so much trouble, especially with Hayden and whatnot, and Hayden is known to be aligned with Gary thanks to Fatima, assaulting him at his apartment. So I can see why Andy is skeptical about Jake or anybody affiliated with Gary. So she's doing her due diligence, and I can't be mad at her. And instead of giving Fatima's phone number out, she will give Jake's phone number to her. So that was pretty much it. Preston pulls up, and I think this is our first time seeing his damn monster truck, and I'm like, damn. And I know somebody tweeted out or messaged me during the live stream, after Preston pulled up in his monster truck, I didn't pay any attention to Jake's Bentley. But in any case, folks, Preston is just a full-on bruh at this point. The bromance is real because he's had no luck contacting Zach. Neither has Jake. And he's like, hey, man, is there anybody you can call that could possibly know where Zach is? There's somebody, but I really don't want to call. Can you please do it? So he regrettably calls Danny, and she's, thinking this is all about her. Oh, wow. Why do you want to talk to Zach? Do you want to get some more bad advice? Yada, yada, yada. Just, I don't know. And I know the thing that has fans pissed off is, when she does mention that, wait, he's in jail? Yeah, getting into some fight with Hayden. How the hell does she know that? Seriously, and I know somebody's like, well, the girls talk. Okay, first of all, Andy obviously saw what happened. Karen knows what happened because she was there as Zach was being taken away, and Andy told her everything. But then we move forward to later in that same day when Danny and Sabrina are at Andy's penthouse, and Andy, for whatever reason, acts surprised and says, wow, you're right, Karen has disappeared and she hasn't been answering our calls, seemingly forgetting the whole wait, but she just showed up at my job. And I know that girls talk, so did Andy decide to tell Sabrina and Danny about Zach being in jail? Because remember, when they went to see Karen and walked in on her and Aaron, Karen gave them the boot, so it seems to me that there was no way she called any of the women to tell them what was going on with Zach because she was pissed off at them. And they didn't talk about it when they were at the salon. So how in the hell did Danny know that Zach was arrested and why? Like I said earlier, Pam knowing makes sense because Pam, she just knows things. But Danny, I don't know. Again, I guess it's to move the plot along. It's kind of like in episode 1 of season 4 when Karen or Pam somehow knew Zach's new address, and that's how Karen popped up there. Okay, but more to the point, he's like, wait, is anybody trying to get him out? And I'm like, yeah, that's a friend right there. Like, I mean, if Danny knew what jail, I feel like Preston would have went down to the jail to try to bail Zach out by any means possible. We could ask his boy. So I just really love the friendship there. I just really love it. So again, he wanted to make sure, there was some sort of answer to where Zach was, because it's like, hey, me and a friend are here looking for him. We haven't heard from him, and that's it. So. And she was kind of taken aback that, oh, wow, that's all you really wanted to talk about? Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. Bye. So from there, Preston gives Jake his phone number. Like, hey, call me if you need anything about, in regards to this Zach situation. So they both split. And because Jake, as soon as he heard Hayden's name, it's like, oh, man, Hayden. Okay. Just a couple more scenes to go over, and we're done. So over at the law firm, Robin goes into Andy's office basically to let her know Zach should be getting out soon and ask if he's going to run. No, why? No, he's not going to run. Okay, because he'll get out, but the assault charges, they're going to stand. And I mean, he'll just have to deal with that. And he's about to head off to get on his jet because remember, he was going to leave for, New York, right? For meetings. Andy's about to leave to go down to the jail, and it's funny because she calls Zatima. It's like, where are you at? Oh, I'm at home. How quickly can you get to the jail? In 2 seconds? Realistically, I'm standing right outside. I can't leave, my man. Okay, well, Robin said he'll be getting out soon. I'm going to head down there now. But before Andy can leave the office, Robin tells Andy that, look, I just heard that based on the basically the internet there at the law firm, Hayden has been looking at federal data banks and records from the airport for the past few hours. First of all, how the hell is he doing that? I mean, look, him doing that again, he's a snake. I feel, believe it or not, I think Hayden and Pam, I mean, I know we talk about Karen and Hayden, but I think Hayden and Pam would probably make a good couple because they just know everything or whatever. But basically, why the hell would he, I know, possibly illegally look at some stuff like that on the work computer, knowing that it's monitored? That seems, look, I know a lot of us want Hayden to be brought down, but for him to be brought down doing that would be dumb, because I feel like that's for stupidity for the sake of him to get into trouble later on, because, Robin even says, like, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm going to look into it, and if I find something, I'll let you know, but hopefully it's something illegal, because I can't stand his ass either. So then we go over to Gary and Aaron. Aaron apparently was called by Gary to go over to his office, and he's still flipping out over the Robin thing, and Aaron apparently just, tells him the truth, but you bought her the place, right? And you said that it was hers, right? So she's free to have over whoever she wants. And Gary don't want to hear that, but luckily Aaron ain't taking no nonsense. Remember, he's like, Gary's spiritual advisor or whatever, and says first thing we're going to do is going to get rid of his telescope. And Gary was like, he was about to lose a fit, because he was about, look, I'm going to go and talk to her right now, because he was grabbing his blazer. But Aaron was like, no, what you're going to do is you're going to calm your butt down, and you're not leaving to talk to her until I make sure you're calm. Well, I hear you. No, you hear me, but that's what's going to happen. Now from there, I guess you could say that we have Zatima at the jail. Yeah, they're at the jail. Fatima's at the jail when Andy, and tells Andy, hey, you don't have to stay, but thanks for coming. I just wanted to, let you know that you've done a lot. And, okay, but also to be careful when it comes to, and thank Robin. And she could tell the look on Andy's face, like, oh, what's that look for? Oh, nothing. And just to kind of give her a word of caution, look, be careful, because apparently Andy's still doing this Robin thing to test Gary. And look, at, what was it, earlier in the season, it was like, oh, Andy thinks she can, out manipulate a full-on manipulator. Now it's just stupidity where it's like, okay, now you're just being ridiculous because once Gary blows his top and does something stupid, then you're going to be looking around like, I can't believe he would do this. You poke the damn bear. I'm not saying Gary is right for whatever he plans to do, but Andy should just know better at this point. So, it's funny because Fatima lets Andy know if anything goes down. Let her know. No. I know not to call you, Bonnie or Clyde. So Zach gets out, thanks Andy, and Andy leaves, and they embrace each other. They're happy that jailbirds. What is it? Jailbirds of a feather go to jail together or something. I don't know why, but when I heard them kind of recite those lines, all I could think about was the Red Table Talk with Will and Jada. Bad marriage for life. I don't know why, but I was just like, that's how it is. It's like, y'all ridiculous. But he has a surprise and he'll drive. Ooh, I love it when you drive. And we know the surprise is to show her the new house. And then the final scene, Hayden's in his office looking up footage from the airport. And I put out the meme and whatnot last night because I kind of gasped looking at this. Because this is the way Hayden was doing and the way he was sitting and whatnot. That's legitimately me at my desk whenever I'm dissecting these Tyler Perry episodes. So he's watching a clip from the surveillance and Tony, the senator's wife, is there. He puts 2 and 2 together about the stock information, and that's the end of the episode. So folks, like I said, this is a pretty good episode. I don't really have that many complaints, more like how in the world does this person know this? Karen is still trying to get Zach to come over. Andy's still testing Gary. Danny is entertaining other men while still trying to hopefully get Preston to come around or come crawling back to her and yada yada yada. Hopefully Zach stays his ass out of jail, him and Fatima, because remember that Robin and Andy are pretty much calling in every favor, pulling every string they can. So if anything else happens, then I don't even know if they can get out unless Zach has some connections with his money. So that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember, I scored the episode a 7 out of 10. Hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next one.